Hello, welcome to another edition of Chris Speaks. I'm your host, Chris Thompson, and I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And neither should you. So, alright, for today on our agenda we have, the first story is the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, which is part of the UN, declares that Israel is an occupying power. Okay, and that their occupation is illegal of the Palestinian territories. And then next we're going to talk about, this is happening because I told you the story like a week ago or so of how, no, maybe a couple of videos ago, I don't remember when it was, but I told you about how on Facebook they were trying to make it illegal not illegal, but they were gonna block your posts and what do they call it, suspend your account if you use the word Zionist, which is freaking crazy. So now basically, what is it, Human Rights Watch is going after them now in an article talking about how they're actually trying to keep people. They're saying they're censoring people who are doing posts about pro-Palestinian things, and so they're doing things like that and doing little changes to their rules or whatever, and they're calling them out and saying, dude, this is like goes against what America stands for. And I know there was a while back that people were like Republicans were all like, oh, there's no freedom of speech, they're blah blah blah. Well, the thing of that was that there was a lot of people saying things, doing things that already went against the rules. But this is them changing the rules to make things being against the rules or not, and it's only focusing on one group, the one side. Okay, so let's get let me get this chair up here. Alright, that's why I felt a little bit lower there. Okay, so now I'm back up to the right height. That something felt weird. Okay, so the ICJ, or the International Court of Justice, which is part of the United Nations, as I had said, declared Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories illegal. The most important thing in this decision was about settlements in the West Bank, including East Jerusalem. The ICJ said that the settlements are illegal under international law. And then, of course, with his ridiculousness, Benjamin Netanyahu makes a statement of, oh, how can we be occupiers in our own land? Well, dude, give me a break, dude. You're from New York. You grew up in New York. You were born and raised in New York City, your land. Give me a break. And I mean, even if you go back to the partition plan, the UN partition plan, it only gave them 52% of the land, not all of the land. So, yeah, that land was never theirs legally. So they can't claim that it's their land. No, you stole it, you're occupying it. They were there first. Like seriously. But people can't deal with facts. They don't want to deal with facts. They want to make comments and stuff and be so sure about stuff without even like researching it. Instead, you got people saying stupid things about, oh, even in the Bible they were. No, they weren't. When the Bible was written, those damn Europeans were still in caves. Like Europeans were practically Stone Age at the time. I mean, so no, that has nothing to do with absolutely anything. They're not even Arabs, because people always say, well, the Arabs and the blah blah blah. No, they're not Arabs. They're only called Arabs because they speak Arabic language, but Palestinians are their own people. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next set of notes. Also, what he said isn't even true. Like I said, most Israelis migrated from Europe and other parts of the world. It's not their land. Okay, I already went over the UN partition plan. Oh yeah, and okay, so even the partition plan, like I said, only gave them 50% of all of the land, not all of it. The rest they took by illegal annexation through wars. And then and in the beginning, I mean, the first thing they did when they were considered a state, it was to push out Palestinians by basically committing a bunch of massacres to make them leave the country, and then not allowing them to return ever. Not them, not their descendants, nobody. But you know, our American media, mainstream media anyways, doesn't really like to talk about it because they're the mouthpiece for the government. I mean, for all I know, they've been that for forever, but it seems like it's more so nowadays than later or whatever. I don't know, I mixed up my words there. Oh yeah, it was the court's decision that no nations are allowed to give any aid to Israel until the occupation ends. No military aid, no money towards the military things, nothing that is adding to helping Israel continue to discriminate against Palestinians and torture them in their own land. I mean, and this is till they're like no aid to them, and then like, I don't know, like till the end, till they finally say, okay, we're not going to occupy them. I mean, this is serious though. What's going on if our government, the United States government, continues to give aid to Israel, then we're going to be brought up on war crimes of being complicit in arming a country that's committing genocide after the UN said not. That's gonna make our country look very bad, because I guarantee you, right now in DC, they're trying to find a way to send more and more and more aid right away. And then, is that what we want to be? Do we want to be the villains in this story? Or do we want to be the good guys in the story and do the right thing? I mean, seriously, sorry. Oh, of all times, I'm going to get an itchy nose because I'm filming this. Okay. What else does it say? There was a report by Al Jazeera, which I got some of the information on, but I also watched the entire video of the deliberations, and they are so boring. Oh my god, if you ever watched anything that's the UN or any government thing, Congress, or even crazier, the British, what do they call it, Parliament stuff, so boring. Everything is in details, and I know they have to put everything that's in writing in serious detail to make sure everything's going, but it's so boring to watch. But I felt that I should watch it to make sure I really see what they're saying, and not just take everything from other reports, which I watched several different reports from different stations to get some of the information. Okay, that's the thing about the UN being boring. Okay. And then there were different people that had made comments. The Palestinian Foreign Minister, Riyad Maliki, I don't know if that's how you say it or whatever, said the ICJ fulfilled its legal and moral duties with this historical ruling. All states must now uphold their clear obligation. No aid, no assistance, no complicity, no money, no arms, no trade, no nothing. No actions of any kind to support Israel's illegal occupation. And it appears that the UN and the courts are drawing on the pre 1967 borders to refer to as the to refer to the occupied territories, and they're seeing them as one cohesive territory, not more of them. So I'm thinking maybe they're recognizing this as a beginning to starting a Palestinian state, because that's the only way they're going to be able to save these people from Israel's evil crap. And it'll be better. It'll be better for Israel. Get these freaking fanatical nutcases out of your government. Because, dude, come on. If there's any Israelis that see this, I don't know why they would. Hopefully you speak English or can figure out a way to translate it or something. But it would be better off for the Palestinians to have their own state. I mean, think of it. There'd be less reason if you guys just leave them alone, let them have self-determination. There might be some terrorist crap going on everyone for a little while, and you can't just. But that needs to be something that's not Israel going in there and blowing them up again, because that's the whole thing. They need their sovereignty, so Israel has no right to go and do that, or there will be repercussions. And there are no repercussions right now. And this is non-binding, meaning it's not really authoritative, but they can't enforce it. But it's really going to start changing the court of public opinion, because obviously the people who are all anytime some organization doesn't do what they like, they're like, screw them, we should defund them. But I mean, for any people with most people who are logical see the UN as an authority. They see it as you can. If the UN says it, then it's probably true. So, I mean, this is the whole thing. This might change things in the Palestinians having their own state and their ability to self-govern, and Israel needs to fucking fit the bill to rebuilding Gaza and rebuilding the West Bank. Well, the West Bank, leave the nice houses for the Palestinians, get your asses out, because the UN says you need to get the hell out of there and go back to New York, dudes. So there's people from other places, but there's a lot of settlers that are from New York City, and a lot of them are Trump supporters, and they're really nasty and mean, and they can't wait to go shoot them some Palestinians. Them racists, they like to go shoot them some brown-skinned people. Okay, yeah, they refer to them as the occupied territories. The assessment also considered the territory. Oh, this is what I was saying before. The assessment considered the territories as a single unit, one. They're not just different territories, they're one thing. That's Palestine. As a single unit. The unification of the territories, I was saying this a little bit earlier too, the unification of these territories may be setting boundaries for a possible Palestinian state. We are seeing history in the making, man. This is going to go down in history, and the thing, it's also going to determine how the United States goes down in history. If the United States keeps sending that aid when they've been told they shouldn't, eventually there's going to be repercussions. Maybe not right now, but eventually. Eventually there'll be people in the Biden administration, most of the people in Congress will eventually be brought up on charges of aiding and abetting a crimes against humanity and war crimes and what is it? I keep forgetting. Sorry, brain's not working. Oh, genocide and committing genocide. We are helping them commit genocide by sending weapons to them. That's what our government is doing. They're taking our money. They're taking tax money. Okay, I know you got to pay your taxes, but instead of putting it on stuff for us to help us or help other countries or whatever, they're they're using the money, give it to pay for the bombs that they're sending to Israel so Israel can bomb the Palestinian people out of existence. This is just disgusting, and to see our government so complicit in this, it makes me feel sick, because this is not America. This is not the America I grew up in. This is not the country that I learned to love. This is our country doing stuff that is totally wrong. I mean, you gotta know, okay, when I was growing up and I lived in California, everything was integrated. Everybody on my street were like different colors, man. There was Hispanic people, there were black people, there were Asian people. It was just everywhere, and I never saw anybody, I never judged them for their skin color or for what their religion might be or whatever. It just wasn't a thing. And it's like, I know you go a few years back and black people didn't have any rights at all. At least in my life they had a lot of them. Of course, we're knowing now from all this stuff we've seen of like cops killing black people, and up until recently they've been getting away with it. And how many years, how many decades have they been getting away with that crap? I mean, and even now, I've seen like stuff on like when they do investigative reporting, and they like found out that these like companies would not hire you if your resume had a black sounding name on it. So to act as if there's no racism anymore is not just incorrect, it's insulting. The worst form of racism is the denial of racism. Okay, what do I have next? Okay, so when it comes to the settlements, meaning where they go and the settlers go and they settle colonies, basically settlements. Even the United States has admitted that they are illegal. So our country's already said they're illegal, but they've been supporting them the whole time. Right? The court ruled that Palestinians were systematically discriminated against in the occupied territories. The UN is finally making amends for turning a blind eye for the past 75 years. This ruling is not binding, but it is the first step. The first step to doing the right thing, and the right thing is a Palestinian state and Palestinian self-determination. You want to stop all the wars? Let them have their own country. Let them be sovereigns. Let them have the right to protect themselves. And let them be able to something I didn't put in the thing was that they're saying that it's also a crime that they're using what is the word? Natural resources of the Palestinian territories to fuel their society. So these people are having no access to any of their own stuff, and like oil or I don't know, certain metals or whatever. I don't know what, they didn't list what they are, but they're saying that Israel has no right to those natural resources because those rightfully belong to the Palestinians, and that in itself was discriminatory. Okay, I guess that's all I got on that one. Okay, here's the next one's a bombshell here. Okay, so Meta is the parent company of Facebook, and the CEO is, what's his name, Mark Zuckerberg. And to make this connection, Mark Zuckerberg is Jewish, but not only is he Jewish, he's a Zionist, and he's a staunch a staunch follower of Israel, and he's so pro them blowing the shit out of the Palestinians. And so Human Rights Watch has written an article on them, on the company, and they're accusing them of basically trying to censor information about they're charging them with being unfair and unfairly editing and getting rid of and blocking. Because I've had things where it was like it had a picture of a man, and I've seen way worse stuff back in the day on Facebook, and now I did oh, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to do a survey, not a survey. What's the thing you do where you get people to write on a thing? Oh, come on, brain. You probably already thought about it before I did, people. So, what am I trying to think of? I don't know. Oh yeah. One second. I almost got it. Oh well, maybe it'll get back to me in a second. Okay, so they've accused them of censoring pro-Palestinian posts. So, and they're not doing it on the other side. So they've accused them of trying to silence people's voices, to silence the movement, and it's not right. It's not fair. If you're going to censor the pro-Palestinian stuff, you have to censor all of the pro-Israel stuff, especially the really nasty stuff that he lets going, where they're just saying horrible things. I mean, how's it acceptable that like people in our Congress can go sign bombs, or they can go out on the floor of Congress and say how we should help, or Israel wipe Palestine off the map, have them knock them back into the Stone Age. Guy literally went on, I don't know which politician went on there and said that, and like, why is that acceptable? But if anybody says anything about Israel, and people even criticize Israel for things it's actually done, all of a sudden we're anti-Semitic. And no, maybe there's some people out there, but not in the movement, not at least not in a high level. I mean, this is a movement of people that actually care about people, but instead the people who are supporting the people that are doing the horrible things, they're the good guys and we're the bad guys. Because wait, what part of supporting genocide is good? What is good about that? And then these jerks who own the social media companies trying to do stuff like that. It's just like I have when on X, because there's a lot of anti-Semitic stuff on there, like actual anti-Semitism, that I had to block a bunch of people because it was just like tired of seeing it. But there's also a lot of, and this does even worse, is the anti-Muslim, Islamophobia, anti-Arab sentiment is on the rampant. And I've reported a bunch of people on X, and only the anti-Semitic stuff got wiped out. They never even got to me back on the other stuff, the anti-Muslim, anti-Arab hate. And it's terrible. If you're going to do one, why don't you do the other? I mean, I've done the same on Facebook, and I just got tired of it, is that they kept telling me, oh, it doesn't violate our things. Excuse me? Oh my God, some of the things people say about Muslims, Palestinians, Arab people on X is disgusting, man. Why is the news only centering on what they see as anti-Semitic when they're hardly reporting? Hell, there was the lady that tried to kill the little Palestinian girl here in Texas, and like it took him like a month to report it on the television. Like, and I think it had to do because ACLU wanted to charge the woman with hate crimes, and rightfully so. So then we got these idiots like Zuckerberg trying to frickin' silence people because he doesn't like their message. Dude, that's not how our country works. Okay, yes, if people break your rules and are just mean to people, that's one thing. But actually trying to change your rules to make certain language unallowed, not because it's actually bad, but because you're trying to silence people. Fuck you, fuckerberg. I mean, give me a fucking break. This douchebag. I mean, he's not even cool, man. This guy's a loser, man. Know why he's a loser? Because how he treats people. This guy, this douchebag, I mean, he stole the Facebook, the original source code for Facebook, he stole from the Vandermoose brothers. He even had to pay a settlement to them because he was found guilty of stealing their crap. And he's had so many people that did like all the groundwork to build Facebook up to what it is, and he didn't give them nothing. He ended up getting sued and having to give them more than he would have had to give them in the first place. And it's like, this guy's a total douche, and the company doesn't even really belong to him. It belongs to the people that built it. No, he just takes credit for you. Shit, normal douchebag CEO freaking steals people's crap, makes money off of other people's labor, sitting on their asses doing nothing, and then they want to try to freaking basically block out people's speeches, trying to block their posts because he doesn't agree with the message. Well, that's not how it works, man. Come on, dude. You're an American just like me. You grew up in the same country I grew up. You know that's a scam. You're just a scammer, and nobody really cares about what you have to say. Unfortunately, they do care about what we have to say, what everyone else here has to say, and you can't sit here. Okay, I mean, if you want to block all the anti-Muslim sentiment, and you want to block all the comments by pro-Israel people, then go ahead and do that, and then block us all. Which, that's still not cool. Don't block anybody. But it's not fair because you disagree with something that you silence the people on the other end. You silence the people that have something to say. Because he's like everybody else who's pro-Israel. They are trying to shut down the conversation because they can't have this conversation because they can't justify supporting a country that has been now officially is being seen as an occupying power, an illegal occupying power that is occupying it illegally. That's another twist. But I mean, come on, man. They're trying to shut down the right side of history. They're trying to shut down the conversation that agrees with the conversation. Oh, what was I saying? Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. The pro-Palestinian movement, it agrees with the UN agrees with them. This is the whole thing. If everybody's saying it quacks like a duck, it probably is a duck, then it's probably a damn duck. I mean, come on. Hey, so if you like this show, if you like any of my shows that you've seen, why don't you hit subscribe, and share it with some of your friends that might like my stuff too, might feel the same way, or just maybe your friends that don't feel the same way, and maybe have them listen to me. Maybe they'll get it. Hey, man, I'm not against anybody. I'm not on anybody's bad side. I mean, we don't have to be enemies. We don't, man. You can disagree and I can disagree, but hey, man, the thing is to educate people on what's going on, what has been going on, how it all began, a little history of the situation. And it's just, man, we gotta try to live together in peace, or we're gonna destroy ourselves. I mean, how much war can this planet take? How much greed, how much hate can it take before the whole thing just implodes? I mean, come on, man. It's like, we just gotta freaking love each other and stop, like, killing each other over shit. And stop I'm just tired of my country. The United States just has a long history of propping up dictatorships and helping people oppress other people, and meanwhile telling everybody who lives in America, America's great and wonderful, and it is in some ways, but this idea that the people have no say. Oh, and this is a thing, I don't know if I had reported this to you guys, is that, oh shit, what was I thinking about? Hold on. I think I might have lost it. Nope. Lost it. Okay, so, like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It just seems like it shouldn't be so damn hard to do the right thing. Like, and you shouldn't be treated like you're scum because you are on the right side of things. You can agree or disagree whether I am or not, but I mean, it's there, the information's there, the data's there, the evidence is there, and even you've got the highest court of the United Nations saying so. So, I mean, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, then it's probably a duck. I mean, it's no longer fashionable to be funding genocide, so now what's in is giving the Palestinians a state and self-determination, and we might need some kind of a security force there to protect them from the Israelis, because I mean, they're just bent on having everything. It's like, dude, just let them have the small crappy pieces of land they have. Just leave it alone. Don't you have enough? Let them have their little itty bitty pieces of land. I mean, that's all they want. They want their land. They want to live their lives. They want to be left the hell alone. So, I mean, and the whole thing is if they do defeat Hamas, there's always going to be another group coming up until they leave those people alone. Do you know how many possible terrorists they have created by wiping people's entire families out? You think that's good for Israel's security? No. All you're doing, what Israel is doing, is just as bad for its people as it is for the Palestinian people. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a kind of, I guess I'd take back that statement because it's not really even, but I mean, it is better for Israel's security for there to be a Palestinian state and for them to leave them alone. And then maybe after a few decades, people might be able to forgive people. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a hard thing, because just in these last 10 months, they have sowed the seeds of hate so much. So it might take a while. I mean, even after the establishment of the Palestinian state, you're gonna have people that are so broken and are just alone because their families, we're talking about, like, this one family lost 50 members of their family in one bombing, man. Imagine that, and imagine how angry someone would be because of that. I mean, look, when we went into Iraq, the United States went into Iraq and killed so many people. They created ISIS because we did a bunch of atrocities there too. You know, the United States does not always follow international law. And so what we did in Iraq, we went in there and we ended up creating ISIS, which was way worse than Al-Qaeda ever was. So that's the thing. You can't bomb a bunch of people and not expect some of them to get pissed off and become terrorists. That's what creates terrorism, is what because we think that if we're at a certain level, we're no longer terrorists anymore. and I'm talking about states, I'm talking about even the United States, but Israel, I mean, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, some people call them the Israeli Occupation Forces, which is more of probably a better title because that's what they are. The IDF started off as a terrorist group called the Irgun, and if you want to read about some history, look up the King David hotel bombing, in which they weren't even Israelis back then, but so these Jewish Irgun soldiers, and they're part of this they were part of this really like far right wing form of Zionism, which still stays with the country today. Is they decided, because so at the time it was the British mandate, and the British actually had power over Palestine, and so they allowed these Jewish people to come in, and basically, I can't give you the whole thing, and live there. And then at a certain time, the British decided to not let any more Jewish people in, and some other things, because they'd come in and they'd cause problems with the people that lived there, and then the Brits would have to clean it all up. So they decided that they were going to get rid of the British, and their first thing to start that was bombing of the King David Hotel. So, the King David Hotel was also the headquarters for the British military, the British presence in Palestine. So they started that, and they killed a bunch of people, and they kept doing terrorist attacks until the British left. Yeah, the IDF literally started off as a terrorist group. And who did they learn it from? They learned their tactics from the British military. Yeah, British military. Britain has a history of being mean and just vicious. Except, I mean, hey man, now I think they're doing a lot better, but they're still their government. Yeah, no, their government, like ours, supports, gives material support to Israel for doing the crap they're doing. So I had that thing. So then they got the British out of there, and what was my point of that? Just pointing out, this is what they came from. Their military came out of a terrorist group, and that's fact. That's fact. and the thing is, I don't think they ever stopped being a terrorist group. They just started being seen as a actual military, but nothing really changed. They had to slow some of their stuff down because there was always some kind of international groups that were against what was going on. Not much, but now it's really grown. I mean, we're getting to the point that the whole world's going to be against this, and this could get our country into some hot water, and that we might have to deal with as its citizens. So, I mean, the thing to do now, if we don't want our country to end up on the wrong side of history and possibly on the wrong side of a world war, we have got to urge our government to no longer send aid to Israel. No aid that helps them kill Palestinian people. This is just wrong, and it needs to stop. I'm serious. Do the right thing. Stop. And if you disagree with me, read the history, read everything about it, read from this side and that side and every side, and figure it out yourself. And the thing is, there's a lot of people that are pro-Israel and they don't even know anything about the conflict. So, I mean, who knows? I guess it's time for me to finish this. I always run a little long because I get into this long, drawn-out rant. But, hey, I know the few people that watch me, that's why they like it. So, alright, see you guys later. I'm your host, Chris Thompson. This has been another episode of Chris Speaks. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And neither should you. See you guys later.